What up? What up? Hope everyone's doing well. We are back. A little late to this one. I think the 5-hour live stream took a bit out of me yesterday, but we're up and running. Spent a while reconfiguring all the audio too, so hopefully that's never an issue again. That was annoying. Hope everyone's doing well though. Good to see everyone. Deefin, good to see you. Sean, Roger, Keith. Keith, did you shoot me a message last night? Do I remember? Yeah, Keith. Keith shot me a message. He asked if the Flair airdrop he received was valuable. Keith, I would say absolutely. We're still yet to see exactly how that protocol really pans out. It's still in the early stages of that protocol, but I think there's a high likelihood that's going to be a very important protocol in the future. It's essentially bridging one blockchain to another using decentralized collateral. So it's a very new idea. It's novel. It's never really been done before. But those are some things that are novel and important in the cryptocurrency space. There's no good bridges right now. And to be honest, what Axelar is doing is kind of competition a little bit for something like Flair. But there's no reason why Flair can't be a big winner when this entire thing shakes out. XP Market, good to see you. Yeah, guys, one of the things that kind of went under the radar from that hearing yesterday that I was going back and thinking about was obviously just the fact that they are looking to get a stablecoin build done ASAP. That's pretty shocking in the grand scheme of things, especially when you look at where we were before. The fact that they're already talking about getting a stablecoin bill done, and that's coming from the Democratic side, I think that shows that there is a pretty big push. Shot me a message on X. All right, let's take a look at this. Oh, I like this question. Great question, Deefin. Let me pull this up real quick. Reconfigured my entire setup right now. Crypto Eddie, good to see you. Flair value prop is the Oracle and State connector. Flair or yes. I need to learn more about the differentiator of the Flair Oracle. I understand that they're able to pull data in a decentralized way, and I'm pretty sure it's because you have essentially multiple providers all delegating that data, but I don't talk enough about that. From the early days, I always saw the Flair value proposition being the ability. Okay, cool. All right. I'm glad I wasn't completely off base with that. From the early days, I always saw the big value driver for Flair being the ability to bring smart contract tokens over to an environment where they don't typically have smart contracts. And for me, it was really cool to see that being done in a way that wasn't just holding coins in custody and then issuing a new coin on the other side. The fact that they were actually able to decentralize that risk with collateral, that to me is fascinating. I really like that approach. That is the new oil. Side project of Hugo. Yeah, it was interesting too that they kind of pulled back Layer Cake. A lot of people thought that was like a lot of people thought them pulling back Layer Cake was like a problem, but I don't know. There's definitely a lot of competition in that general sphere, especially when you look at things like what Axelar is doing with the general messaging. So I didn't really have an issue with them pulling back Layer Cake at all. In fact, I was kind of like, there's a minute I was looking there, I was like, wow, this team's doing a lot. I wonder if they're going to be able to do it all properly. And with how big F assets are, I'm kind of happy they're just focusing on the F asset side of things. But Eddie, great to see you. The chat loves you here, so everyone appreciates you stopping by. You're definitely a fan favorite whenever you hop into the streams, you and Jungle. So whenever you hop in. But long story short, Keith messaged me about his Flair airdrop, and he was like, hey, is this thing valuable or is it a scam? I was like, I think that will be valuable. I would hold on to that. I would not get rid of that now. So yeah, Flair is one of my, I like Hugo a lot. I really like what Flair is doing. I think what they're doing is going to be extremely valuable. But most importantly for me, it's novel. It's not like the same thing over again. Like, there's so many things I look in crypto, and it's like, it's the same thing again. Like, I've already seen this. It's a repeat. It's a copycat of Ethereum posted on this other chain. So that's what really drew me to Flair. It was like, it is very different from anything I've seen before in the past. So let's get into your question, DFin, because this is a good question. And guys, make sure if you're getting here right now, stop what you're doing right now, exit out of the live chat, go drop a like on the stream. The amount of people watching this stream will increase by 100, 150 instantly. We'll teach more people about XRP, teach them about the XRP ecosystem. If you're over on X, drop a retweet. Guys, thank you so much for doing that. It's super helpful. You guys are the absolute best. And then we'll jump into this. So this was posted by DFin. And what we are talking about here, in 1 second. And what okay, cool. And what we're talking about here sounds like general price of XRP. This is DFin's question. He said Moon Lambo. And to be clear, I'm not Moon Lambo, so we're going to be taking a shot at this for him. What are your thoughts on this based on your video today? I'm questioning that do retail really impact or reason in the end to drive the price up? Once institutions want to use it for money, will there be one way or other? Okay, so the real question is like the impact of retail on the price of a token versus institutions. I think in the short term, there's no doubt about it. Retail has a massive impact on price. And this is the way all markets work. So if you look at penny stocks, retail can have a significant impact on penny stocks. There's no question about it. You can get pump and dumps. You can get groups to move the price. In fact, I'm sure Eddie remembers this. There's actually a time when the Ripple SEC case first started where there was actually a pump group for XRP in which they were trying to pump the price of XRP. And I think they were actually very successful. They actually got the price to move pretty significantly. So there's no doubt in my mind that retail moves the price now, and retail has probably control over a large portion of the moves in the market. There's definitely other players at play here, but there's no question that retail has an impact on the price. With that said, I do think, just like any other market, right? Like if I was to go in and start a pump group on Nvidia or Apple, we're not moving Nvidia or Apple. So as more money flows into digital assets and we have larger institutions able to allocate, as we have custody problems solved, as we have all these things kind of cleaned up in the digital asset space, I think it's going to be much harder for retail to have a significant impact on price. And I don't think this is anything that we don't already really know, but I think it's important to realize that I also think it's very possible that the market caps of cryptocurrencies are going to be significantly higher than equities. And I think it's going to be, rather than me comparing the market cap of XRP to something like an Apple or an Nvidia, instead is going to get compared to, say, the market cap of a currency. I think there is a chance that decentralized neutral currencies are more valuable than centralized fiat currencies. And if you were to have a situation like that, you would actually probably reach a point where the volatility of the digital asset was extremely low because it sucked in so much value and so much money that a single person coming in wouldn't be able to cause a massive swing on the overall price. So those are my general thoughts about that. I think as any market gets bigger, retail has less of an impact. I don't think there's any question that retail has a large impact now, but I think that probably changes. Johnny Horn, RLUSD doesn't make XRP useless. It's just adding some options for liquidity, not replacing XRP. XP market, what a perfect answer. What a perfect answer. And we're really lucky to have XP Market in this ecosystem. They have been absolutely killing it. Guys, I say this all the time, but we're going to make a quick pit stop over there right now. If you have not been over to XP Market, make sure to check it out. It is an incredible source of data for everything you might need on the XRP Ledger. If you're looking to interact with the XRP Ledger, use any things like the automated market makers, use things like swaps. These are all going to be the best play. The XP Market is probably going to be the best place for you to find these things. So just want to shout that out real quick. An incredible job being done over there. We'll pull it up real quick just so you guys can see the interface here. Take a look at exactly what we're dealing with. This right here, we have the automated market maker pools. Cool to see Bitstamp and USD, BTC USD issued by Bitstamp and USD XRP issued by Bitstamp still has open pools here. I was a little worried that when Robinhood bought Bitstamp, they might pull some of this stuff back. Looks like they're still doing it, which is very cool. Love to see that. Take a quick look at token rankings. It looks like Sologenic and GateHub issued ETH. One of the first times I've seen this towards the top. Thorium CSE. Very interesting. Bitstamp USD, magnetic. Need more premium assets on the XRP Ledger. I'll keep saying that, but I think we'll get there. And let's take a quick look at DApp rankings. Magnetic #1. Been #1 for a while. XP Market sticking your way up to #2. Great job. XRP Cafe sitting at #4. Sologenic. Bids, which is on XRP. So that's a cool little switch up. I kind of like the name Bids more. That's clean. DexFi, Zertmon, Orchestra, BitThomp. Awesome. It's nice to see when you go over to the dApps that we are starting to put together a very legit swath of dApps. This is nice because there was a while where like we had nothing on the XRP Ledger. So to start seeing a lot more tokens coming in, to start seeing a lot more dApps, it's really cool. And I think we're in the very early days of a lot of this being built out, but to be kind of where we are already is a great place to be. So guys, I always say, make sure you have XP Market, make sure you have that favorited in your browser. A lot of really cool things going over here. And I think it's going to be a great one-stop shop for the XRP Ledger. Timing is odd for appeal, date ending, Brick, Swell, RLUSD, etc. Well, one of the things that which I want to make it through, I'm a little worried about, and someone made a comment on the live stream the other day, and I thought it could be legit, was the SEC waiting for this hearing to be complete prior to appealing? I think there is a chance that could have been the case. So I think these next today and tomorrow are going to be critical, because if the SEC was planning on appealing this entire time and they just didn't want to do it before the hearing, they might have pushed. They might have said, "Oh, we decided to do this, but we'll just wait for after the hearing because we don't want to deal with the implications in Congress." So these next 2-3 days are definitely going to be, in my opinion, probably the most likely 2 or 3 days we would see an appeal. Now, right, it is always possible that the SEC is just saying, we hate the XRP community, we want to give them the middle finger, we're going to do this on the last day possible. I don't think that's likely to be the case. It could be. I don't think it's likely to be the case, but these next 2 to 3 days, I think, are kind of the days to watch, for lack of a better term. Gary still has other hearings that were postponed, though. Yeah, but he doesn't know when that's going to be. Like, there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can do, and we're running out of time. Let's pull up the XRP price chart and see where we're sitting in terms of time and the Ripple SEC case. So if we take a look here, we can see, man, we are at the this line right here is that October 7th date. And I've said this a couple times. That's actually over the weekend. So I don't want to say this yet, but it is very possible it actually happens a little more between this September 30th date and this October 7th date, right? We don't know the actual last day in here. The last day lies somewhere in between here. It could be the Friday. It could be the Monday. I don't know if the SEC can take it over the weekend. Can they take it over the weekend? Does it have to be before the weekend? So it's somewhere in here. So as you can see, we are there. Like we've made it to the end of this thing. And I don't want to like toot my own horn here, but one of the things we predicted was going to happen was that XRP, since the day we got that ruling, was just going to trade sideways in here up until getting the appeal. And I like where XRP is sitting because the market's kind of telling you what the market, I believe, thinks is going to happen, right? We got the appeal, XRP traded sideways, and it slowly drifted back towards the top here, waiting for that ultimate decision to get hit. So some great questions in the chat as well. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I'm actually gonna, we haven't done this in a while. I'm gonna get a little members only going. Little members only. We haven't done this in a while. I was gonna do it for the big live stream yesterday for the hearing, but there was just so many people. There's such good discussion going on. And I wasn't being as active as I could have been because I was so busy with other stuff on the side. I wasn't expecting the 5-hour ruling. So I figured I'd just let it run and let everyone have a good time in there. But we'll switch this over to members only for the remainder, just because I see a lot of people asking questions. I'm kind of missing them right now. Guys, if guys, really appreciate you guys who are members. And if you want to be, you can just go down in the description. It's like $5 a month. It's like a cup of coffee nowadays. So appreciate everyone who does that. Let's see what we got. Is the CEO of Visa talking at Swell? Yes. Oh, let's see if we can get an updated Swell list going on. Let's take a look at what's going on there, because I think honestly, maybe I just missed it on the first one, or I don't know. I will not be going to Swell, but I do know people who are going to Swell. So I wish I was going to Swell. I think I could go to Swell if I wanted to. Maybe I will, but oh, all right. I'm pulling up the speakers right now so we can go through it together. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, so I could go to Swell if I wanted to, but I haven't decided yet. For me personally, as much as Swell would be incredible. Swell would be absolutely incredible. But just haven't decided yet on that. A lot of questions if one person's going or the other. I will plead the fifth. All right, you're probably right, Roger. You're probably right. You're probably right. I probably should be going to Swell. Probably should be going to Swell. When it's coming up, right? You got to represent the Mickle Mafia. I don't know if they want you to, like, that's what I think it is. I think they want to keep it very rational. Jake is going for syndicately, I believe. Don't hold me to that. I could be wrong. Guys schedule changes quickly, but I think for syndicately. Anything interesting happening in the market right now? Before we jump into the Swell thing, let me just make sure I'm not missing anything in the market. And we'll throw this up right now so you guys can just start sleuthing. I'm thinking it looks like I kind of have to take myself out of the picture to do this properly. Actually, nah, it's not the end of the world. Okay. Let's jump this over here and take a look at some of those Swell speakers. And it would help if I showed my screen. There we go. Here we go on some of the Swell speakers. So obviously Big BG. This one's interesting because this woman has been said to be part of Choke Point 2.0. So really interesting to see her there. I'm surprised. I think she's also part of the group that took XRP off the green list. So hopefully Big BG can schmooze her up a little bit as well, because I would love to see some progress on New York. I'm pretty sure. Defin, I would say you would think the New York SDFS on the site would indicate that the New York based SEC is not going to appeal, but you know, you just don't know. You just don't know. They're not necessarily completely related. For all we know, this New York FDSS person's going to come and like just crap on crypto, right? We don't even know if she's going to come and be pro crypto. So we want her to come and be pro crypto. That would be the best solution, but we don't know what it looks like. Also, guys, make sure to take a quick second, drop the like on the stream. Takes 2 seconds. Also, if you constantly say like, hey, I keep wanting to come to these lives and I'm never making it, just make sure you're subscribed to the channel or subscribe to my X. These two things are going to make it so whenever I go live, you see it. Also, retweet goes a long way. A lot of cool people follow you guys who don't know about me. You retweet the stuff. All the cool people who follow you see this. Maybe they want to get into the cryptocurrency space. Maybe they want to learn about XRP rather than a bunch of crap coins. Sheila Bear, former chair of the FDIC, founding chair of the Systemic Risk Council. All right, so hot start there. 3 pretty interesting people. Regulatory heavy up front, which is interesting because Ripple really hasn't had a lot of issues with regulators other than the SEC. So Tracy says no appeal. Let's see what we got. BBVA, head of digital assets. Interesting. Bank, I believe. Philip Martin, chief security officer at Coinbase. Interesting. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get Brian Armstrong. Like, what's Coinbase sending their chief security officer for? Give us the CEO. I don't know. Cool to see Coinbase there, but what's up with this? What's up with this square right here? What's up with Philip? I want the bald man, Brian Armstrong. No, I'm just kidding. He's probably great. Probably a great speaker. It just feels a little bit like, hey, where's the CEO, right? This is Swell. Tim McCourt, head of equities. Oh, head of CME Group. All right. Possible ETF connection. Maybe not. What I know is we need actual regulated options trading on the CME in order to get movement on an XRP ETF. That will allow us to get that regulated market that the SEC can then look at. So cool to see him. Monica Long needs no introduction. Revolut's a very forward-leading bank. I know a lot of people are big fans of Revolut. So could be a very big opportunity in the future for some new banking partners. Lead Bank, don't know anything about Lead Bank. Kristen Smith, Blockchain Association. Interesting to see her here because I remember them doing absolutely nothing for Ripple during the Ripple SEC case. Like nothing. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. MoonPay, don't know enough about MoonPay. Bitwise, interesting to see Bitwise over there. Another ETF person. Stuart Alderati needs no introduction. 2TM, don't know about 2TM. Crypto.com. Pantera Capital, big VC, so that's nice. Ripple, Kraken, wow, Kraken, good to see. Bloomberg, obviously that's big. Another ETF connection. Ripple, again, Visa, there we go, senior director at Visa. Charles Domingo, Securitize, okay, not going to say anything. Metropolitan Capital, don't know much about them. Ripple again. Northern Trust. I know this company's big. Ripple, Gemini. All right. So they got a lot of US buy-in here. They got Gemini. Archax. Cool. Archax is going to be there. Ripple. Stripe. Cool. Stripe is going to be there. Very cool. Very cool to see Stripe there. Grayscale. This makes a lot more sense now that we have the Grayscale Trust. So that hit pretty recently. Western Union. Very cool. BNY, BCB, Google Cloud, head of Web3. All right, well, I don't know how it really gets much better of a list than that. I mean, other than a couple of people being there, not necessarily CEOs, but more of like a little further down the food chain, you could say. I don't know if you want to say down the food chain, but Will Graham from RHX go viral again? I don't know. We'll see what his lawyers thought about him going viral for that comment there, Roger, right? If we see Graham tone it back a little bit, maybe the lawyer said, hey, chill out a little bit, buddy. But if he goes at it again, we could see that RHX has some real confidence there. I'm excited about RHX. RHX is doing some really cool stuff. Excited to see what they ultimately come up with here. Hester drove the bus over Gary, then stole his milk money. Yo, comment of the day here by Taco Pro. Yeah, Hester Peirce was not holding back yesterday. Hester Peirce was like, hey, it must have been weird for Hester Peirce. Like, weird in the sense that she is literally chewing this guy out right in front of him, literally exposing him for such a bad job. And we'll have to get a clip up here for the crowd. Right, we got to get a clip up here for the crowd because there's a really good one of Hester just teeing off on Gary's head and just swinging. Like, she doesn't hold back at all. Oh, this is actually another great one. This is another great one. So this was posted by Mr. Alex Cobb. Should be able to throw this over here. Hopefully you guys can hear this new audio configuration. Watch how much Gary is shaking here. It's crazy.
It's to an earlier point, if I can, that this Howey standard is actually quite clear. One court said Howey provides clearly token. It's to an earlier point, if I can, that this Howey standard is actually quite clear. One court said Howey provides clearly token. It's to an earlier point, if I can, that this
interesting stuff. I mean, Gary Gensler shaking like a rattlesnake. That's next level fear. I don't know what it must have been after Tom Emmer fucking went at his face. Mr. Mickle, was yesterday's Hester Peirce announcement on a rule change allowing certified financial institutions to hold digital assets a big deal? I think it is, but not sure. Well, no, it's more of like the SEC is just backdooring certain people into being allowed to hold crypto assets while slamming the door on others. So I would say it's a lot less of a big deal and a more of like, hey, why are you allowing certain people to do this and certain people not?
I think what's happening.
I want to play you this Hester Peirce one real quick, though. This one's good, too.
I think what's happening is that we're trying to be ambiguous because the legal precision carries with it real implications. And this is why people have been coming to us and saying we need clarity. Is the token itself a security? Or is it part of an investment contract? Is it being sold together with an investment contract? If it is, what is that investment contract and how long does it track along with the token? By using imprecise language, we've been able to sort of suggest that the token itself is a security apart from that investment contract, which has implications for secondary sales. It has implications for who can list it. And I think this is absolutely, we've fallen down on our duty as a regulator not to be precise. And so tucking into a footnote that, yes, we admit that now actually the token itself is not a security, that's something that we should have admitted long ago and then started wrestling with the difficult questions.
Okay. So
I think what's happening is that we're trying to be.
So, yep, two great videos, essentially of Hester Hester teeing off on Gary and Gary trembling. I mean, it comes down to the fact that I don't think it could be more obvious that he knows it's a charade. Like, there's no question about it. They tried to hide behind the digital asset security thing. That's been completely exposed. They wanted to have that be like the front man, like, oh, it's just a digital asset security. And that's fallen apart in front of them. And there's not a lot to fall back on, right? It's kind of like you've got, at this point, everyone knows the deal. Everyone knows that, hey, this thing doesn't exist. You've been pushing it and you've been trying to frame regulations around a non-existent thing. So yeah, the hearing today got canceled, unfortunately. Gary got himself off the hot seat by who knows how. Turns out the Republican New Day is more of a, we'll call Gary Gensler into the hot seat with his entire team once every 4 years, but at least we got yesterday. So how could they appeal? They could always appeal, Tracy. Whether or not it would be smart is a whole nother question, but they could always appeal. Now, we'll have to see what happens there. They could appeal. They could appeal saying that they believe secondary market transactions of XRP should have been deemed a security. Actually, I don't even think they can appeal that. They can appeal that when Ripple sells on an exchange, they are really selling directly to retail, even though retail doesn't know who they're buying XRP from. It's just a bad case. They could appeal it. They could appeal saying that they still believe XRP is a security, even though they admitted to Binance that they don't think crypto assets are securities. They could do whatever they want. Is it smart? Is it advisable? Is it going to get them into more trouble later down the road? I think all of those things are probably true. You don't think they will, Tracy? I don't think they will either. But I will say most of the smart lawyers I talk to think they will appeal. So I just want to make this clear, right? Like, I am more than happy to give you guys my opinion on here, but I'm also going to give you the opinion of the smart people I talk to, and I'm not going to pretend like those people's opinions don't exist. There's no doubt in my mind that there is a significant amount of people who do think they will appeal. I'm just more than happy to take the contrarian bet here. More than happy to take the contrarian bet here. Someone's got to do it, and I certainly hope I'm right, because I don't know. It's the appeal doesn't make sense. I don't think we'll see it. Wow, this is interesting. Take a look at this. I mean, this is a big step in the direction we know are coming. Visa to help banks test tokenized assets and smart contracts. Guys, this is exactly where we thought this market was going. Exactly, like to a T. The big banks, the big financial institutions are going to tokenize their assets, and then from there, they need public liquidity. They are going to need public liquidity to be able to interact those assets with the rest of the market. We need decentralized, open, neutral marketplaces for the exchange of assets. I mean, guys, if this doesn't validate the entire technology set and how the large institutions are looking at it, like, I don't know what else you need to see. It could not be more obvious that it is coming. It could not be more obvious that the big institutions know it's coming. They are working on these things in real time. And Visa is literally helping them test this stuff on the back end. See what else we got. October 6th. Yeah, it is October 6th. And then you have the Colin, good to see you, brother. Good to see you, Colin. And then after October 6th, we also have the weekend. So I don't think they can like go over the weekend. So it probably has to be a little bit before October. We just don't know, though. We just don't know. Wait a minute, guys. Just checking in on something real quick. Will October be Uptober, as everyone is talking about? Look, I think we're overdue for some very exciting market action. Let's take a look at some of the charts real quick. We haven't done much chart stuff recently, so I'd like to do a little bit of chart stuff here. Take a look at kind of what we're dealing with on the chart side of things and see if we can make any sense of it. So obviously we already talked about this. Obviously XRP has been being knocked down by this resistance for a while. It's pushing back up against the top. We're hoping a catalyst here will send it. The XRP chart just looks like a powder keg ready to explode. So we want that to ultimately hit. Let's take a look at XRP to BTC because I actually haven't looked at this in a while. It kind of stalled out. And we kind of knew it had to stall out a little bit. That's typically how XRP moves. And we were just more waiting for the stall out to resume. So, yep, XRP kind of just hanging down here right now. Stalled out on that initial pump, but that's something we've seen many times before in the past. It's nothing new. Almost every single time XRP makes a big move off of this bottom, it does have kind of some stall out phase before making the next big move. So we're really just waiting for this consolidation to finish. And in fact, a lot of what we're watching right now, if we bring up BTC, is something we talked about in terms of BTC needing to make that new all-time high prior to XRP moving. So BTC looks extremely interesting right now. It is in just this crazy, weird sideways trading pattern at the all-time high. It's like it got to the all-time high and then suddenly just hit a brick wall. Now, I do think Bitcoin's going higher, but we need to see Bitcoin be able to kind of push out of this flag it's creating, right? We want to see Bitcoin really break out of here. Hasn't had the strength to do so thus far. I do think we're going to get there, though. I am pretty optimistic on Bitcoin getting out of here. I just don't know which move it's going to be, right? Is it going to be this next move that we just break right through here? Is it going to have to come back down here again, make another one? Who knows? It really could trade sideways here for a bit if it wanted to. But even at the moment we're at right now, this long sideways movement on Bitcoin, you don't really see this action too often on it. Like, it's kind of getting to the point where it's like Bitcoin really doesn't trade sideways, especially at a previous all-time high for this period of time. Like, as you can see back here, we got a little chop, right? Got a little chop, but then ultimately we kept on going up. Here we had a little bit of sideways chop over a couple years, but that's really because COVID interrupted it in the middle. Other than that, it's really normally up and down. So I would assume we're pretty close to some kind of a decision here on what Bitcoin's going to do. Bitcoin breaking out to all-time high would be very good. Very good. For XRP. Typically, in the past, every single time XRP has gone, Bitcoin's already broke past its all-time high. Take a look at the dollar. Oh, the dollar. For the XP market, we got the dollar. The dollar looks like it's doing exactly what we would have expected. We've been talking about this for a while, and we are re-breaking some of these resistances right here. It looks like we're putting in some fresh lows out the dollar at the moment. Not fresh, but close to fresh. We want the dollar to break down here. A breakdown in the dollar would be very, very bullish. And we're at a critical point right here. Look at this. I mean, this is probably a bit of an iron wall. So if rate cuts can send us back down through this thing, that would be significant, because that would indicate, in my opinion, that there is a big open place down here. Like the next significant long-term zone, you probably don't get to until way down here. So does that mean the dollar is going to fall from 100 to 90 in a single swoop? Absolutely not. I don't think so. I don't look at moving averages as much as other people do, DFIN, but just the fact that the dollar is trending down is generally bullish. Yes, is generally bullish. The weakening of the dollar shows less people saving and more people looking to invest capital. It's people flowing out of things like money market funds and looking to find better ways to help preserve that capital. And it looks like that's happening in real time as interest rates go down, as people can no longer have the easy money of just invested into treasuries. I saw that, Roger. That was cool. That was cool. Yeah, Elon Musk said, or JP Diamond said he believes that Elon Musk's idea to have a government efficiency program is a good idea. And of course it's a good idea. We spend hundreds of millions, billions, probably trillions of dollars on programs where the money's just lost. Like, rather than every single time you need more money taxing people more, it's like, how about instead we go through and just clean up all the places the money is being lost? You know, it doesn't seem like that crazy of an idea. How about rather than stealing more people's money, we lose less of the money that we're already stealing? So, just my opinion. Going through the news right here, just making sure we don't miss out on anything. Inflation low. U.S. inflation is low. The thieves don't want that. Good comment. The thieves don't want that. They absolutely do not want that. But dollar looks good. And let's zoom out to do the long-term trend here. The long-term trend of the dollar is certainly one that I believe is weakening. I don't think there's any question that the dollar is weakening with time, but the dollar is one of those charts where it's more of like, I just don't know what I see. Like in like the time periods are extreme, right? Like, to look at the dollar, we have to go all the way back down to 1976. So, like, we could watch, like, what we're watching right now on the dollar, if it was to come down, could be something like a move that lasts all the way to like 2035, right? So it's just important to realize like how slow these things move. Yeah, gold is at all-time highs, and I think gold is leading Bitcoin. So good call out, Roger. We'll take a look at gold. I think gold is leading Bitcoin if I was to guess. I think this is very fascinating. So we just talked about how Bitcoin was trading sideways at the previous all-time high. That's exactly what gold is doing now. That is exactly what gold just did. It just broke out of that previous all-time high after trading sideways for a while there. I think it's very interesting that gold and Bitcoin are looked at by large people in the markets as similar assets. And you had a very similar go up, stop at peak, and then that extension. So I think we're going to get a very similar extension for Bitcoin. I think once we have that extension for Bitcoin, that's when a lot of the rest of the market's going to go. Tracy, have a great day. Thank you for stopping by. We always appreciate you being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, gold looks incredible. And good for the gold people, right? Because gold people took a lot of crap for a while. Personally, I'm not a gold person, but gold people took a lot of crap for a while on how gold was never performing. It looked like gold was about to break out. And then there was this massive head fake down here where essentially gold crashed back down. And a lot of those people were like, oh, we don't know where gold's going to stop. It could come really far back down. And then it just kind of instantly rebounded, reclaimed here, and made a big push upward. So this is one of the big reasons a lot of people, I think, need to be careful trading markets, and they're better off just holding. I can see a lot of people, you can just see a scenario like this, right? It looked like gold was about to break out. You got into... Looked like gold was about to break out. You got into gold at some of these higher levels. Ultimately, gold starts falling, and you don't see a resistance for a while. You sell just to have gold come back up here and make this big extension upward. So always why you got to be careful trading. And like, think you probably wouldn't have made that much swinging all those moves back and forth. But if you were just to hold gold through that entire thing, and ride that move upward, you could be in a pretty good position. So if silver and gold never go up, XRP can do the same. Defin, funny comment right there. Awesome comment. And gold's got a great long-term price history. Like, look at this thing. Are we on log? Wow, this is even on log. So you gotta go. When did this go back to? Look at that movement. I don't know how accurate a lot of this data is here. Talk about a move. Wonder what this looks like non-logarithmic. Funny how much the gold chart really looks like the Bitcoin chart. Like if I didn't tell you guys any better, you'd probably think you're looking at a Bitcoin chart right now, right? Like this looks exactly like a Bitcoin chart. Funny how all the gold people talk about the volatility of Bitcoin, and you look at something like this and you're like, well, gold's history makes it look pretty volatile as well. Fascinating chart to take a look at, though. Appreciate you for bringing that up, Roger. I'm glad we took a quick peek at that. Gold looks great, but I could not be more happy about being positioned on the XRP side of things instead, or the Bitcoin side of things. I think they're going to be gold 2.0, and I see a lot more momentum in those assets over the next 20 years than something like gold. Not to say gold can't perform great. I think it will. Guys, make sure to drop retweets. Make sure to drop a like on the stream. Really appreciate you guys so much for doing that. I always like looking over and seeing where we compare to the big dogs, and we stack up pretty nicely. So it's cool to see all the different market open shows going on X, and it's cool being at the top of that leaderboard. You guys are incredible for making that happen. See what else we got. Anything interesting going on in the market? Markets so far, other than gold, have been pretty flat. We got 15 more minutes until market open, and we can take a look at how things open up. If anything interesting is happening. So far, it looks like crypto is just kind of trading sideways. Nothing overly exciting, but I think a lot of the movements we see in ancillary markets are very promising. Taking a look at the equity market, looks like today is pretty neutral thus far. Nothing exciting at the moment. It seems like we need a larger catalyst. Thank you, Roger, for covering that. I can only talk about certain stuff here, so you're the best, Roger. Yeah, the big news I'm seeing now is kind of that Visa news we talked about earlier in terms of Visa working to help tokenize some of the smart contracts. I do want to share one thing with you. For those of you guys who didn't see this was an excellent exchange the other day between Richie Torres and Gary Gensler. Maybe one of the better exchanges we saw over the course of the entire hearing. So I want to play this for you guys. I think you guys are going to find this to be very good for those of you who didn't see it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Gensler, suppose I were to sell you a Yankee ticket and tell you that the Yankee ticket could appreciate in value and could be resold at a profit in the secondary market. And as is the case with all sports tickets, suppose the proceeds from the sale of the Yankee ticket goes toward paying for the Yankee game. By selling you the Yankee ticket, am I entering into an investment contract with you and therefore conducting an unregistered security offering?
I appreciate the question. I don't know all the facts and circumstances, but I don't think so. I know where we're headed here, Representative, but I don't think so in that Yankee.
So a Yankee ticket is not, and why is a Yankee ticket not a security?
Well, it's really a question, and the courts have been clear on this, is the offer and sale.
Specifically with a Yankee ticket, though, when you're buying a Yankee ticket, what are you purchasing?
You're buying.
Access to a Yankee game. Is that fair to say?
I understand. It's been a while since I went to a Yankee game,
Fair
but
enough.
that's.
You're welcome to a Yankee game.
I used to live in New York, and my three daughters were all born in New York.
So in the Stoner Cats case, the creators were selling an NFT that offered access to an animated web series. From the standpoint of federal securities law, is there a legal difference between buying a Yankee ticket that offers you the experience of a Yankee game and buying an NFT that offers you the experience of an animated web series?
Again, I don't want to comment on any one specific.
Well, it was a settlement, it's a fait accompli.
but-
It's not an ongoing litigation. You can comment on it.
But it's about how is something offered and sold, and is it offered and sold as an investment contract? Or are individuals looking to a common enterprise anticipating profits based on the
Well,
efforts?
I'm familiar with the definition, and you're avoiding the question. See, here's the danger I see with the Gensler theory of investment contracts.
It's
right,
actually the Supreme Court's
let me-
theory of investment.
Well, your idiosyncratic interpretation of the Supreme Court's theory. The expectation or promise that an object could appreciate in value or that an object could be sold at a profit in the secondary market, that expectation or profit could be retrospectively attributed to just about any collectible or any consumer good or any piece of art or any piece of music. The trouble with the Gensler theory of investment contracts is that it's so open-ended that it lacks anything resembling a limiting principle. It blurs the line between collectible and security, between art and security. Ms. Crenshaw, does requiring artists and musicians to register art and music with the Securities and Exchange Commission raise a First Amendment concern?
I'm not a First Amendment expert, but I would think the only thing that have to be registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission are securities. And so that's what I would look to determine whether they have to register with us.
Now, in the Stoner Cats case, the SEC not only prohibited the creators from selling NFTs, the SEC ordered the creators to destroy the NFTs. Does the destruction of artistic expression by government fiat raise a First Amendment concern?
Again,
You're not a First Amendment expert?
I'm not a First Amendment expert.
Do you need to be? Do you think artistic expression is protected under the First Amendment? Do you need to be a First Amendment expert to answer that question?
I think the ins and outs of First Amendment law are actually very nuanced, so I would not want to opine.
Do you think the SEC has an obligation under the First Amendment to take care not to have a chilling effect on artistic expression on the blockchain?
I think we can work together to advance the interests of the industry, and I think our markets are the highlight of the world because of the laws that have been in place for 90 years.
You're not answering my question. In a September 12th court filing, the SEC had to apologize for using a term it invented out of thin air, digital asset security. The fictional term digital asset security perpetuates the false narrative that digital assets in themselves are securities. In the Howey case, as you know, Mr. Gensler, the Supreme Court never held that orange groves in themselves were securities. The Supreme Court held that orange groves can be part of investment contracts, which are securities. The same logic applies to digital assets. In my view, using the term digital asset securities is as intellectually dishonest as using the term orange grove securities. Mr. Gensler, would you ever use the term orange grove securities?
I don't believe I have.
Or would, right? Because it gives the impression that orange groves in themselves are securities, and that would be misleading. I see my time has expired.
So all I'm gonna say is that cannot
Mr.
feel
Chair,
good,
Mr. Gensler?
for Gary Gensler to be taking that from someone in his own party. I mean, that is a tough thing to have to deal with, coming from someone within his own party. I mean, that is a massive slap in the face. That is a massive slap in the face to everything the party's looking to accomplish together. And to see a straight dissent like that and a straight hey, this is not like Republicans saying blah, 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 blah. This is me, a Democrat, saying you are way off on these issues. That's interesting. I want to cover something else real quick that I saw some debate about over the past couple days. I think it's important. That's XRP Ledger development activity. I always see a lot of people throwing shade at stuff like this, and I want to make one thing clear. Not a lot of metrics take into account. So like, I see these charts all the time, and like up here we have development activity on Tron, development activity on ETH, development activity on a couple other blockchains, and then development activity on the XRP Ledger all the way down here. It's really important to realize that development on the XRP Ledger works a lot different than other blockchains. Why is that the case? All these other blockchains have smart contracts. So if you're building something like a meme token, if you were building some crap token, if I was to go on there and issue Mickle coin, start selling it to you, that would count as development. On the XRP Ledger, because a lot of the underlying functionality on the core chain has to be done at layer 1, and there's an amendment process, there's only so many people working on amendments at once that have to be voted in and pushed through the gate. It's not to say that that strategy is worse, that strategy is the better. It's not to say that that strategy shouldn't change. I'm not making a point on that. I'm just making the point, trying to compare these things as apples to oranges. Like, you'd have to take all the people who are building dApps on the XRP Ledger, like XP Market, and include them into the equation. But the thing is XP Market wouldn't count, I don't believe, in many of these surveys, because XP Market's not working on main chain. XP Market is working on their own side dApp that interacts with main chain, but not on the underlying protocol itself. Are you going to do a Mickle coin? No, absolutely not. Roger, I love the confidence, but there will be no Mickle coin. There will not be any Mickle coin. We'll leave it at absolutely no on the Mickle coin. And if there ever is a Mickle coin, well, hopefully there's a very good reason for the Mickle coin to exist. Like, who knows? Maybe there is some reason that you would want a Mickle coin in the future. Maybe just like a subscriber loyalty. So I could see something cool, like for every like second you watch the live stream or something like that, like you get paid out in like Mickle coin or something like that, or something cool like that. But it'd have to be something like that. It would have to be some kind of like rewards or loyalty or collectible thing. I've thought about doing like NFT stuff before, like an NFT collection or something like that. It always ends up being more work than it's worth. To be honest with you guys, it always ends up being like, oh, this is going to require all of this work. And then like, I don't know, there's just not a lot of benefit from it on the other side typically. But so long as there was a benefit that was worth it, I could see that being interesting. I could definitely see that being interesting. Not in any near future though. Let's put it that way. There would have to be something very new, exciting, interesting, built out, and haven't seen anything on that front yet. I'm still an NFT skeptic. I'm still a meme coin skeptic. So yeah, used to buy merch is fine, but Adam, like, that's the thing. Like, that's just not really my style of doing things, you know? Like, what's the point? Like, why not just use XRP, right? Like, I'm not trying to make a derivative of a coin that literally does the same exact thing as any other coin on the market that has more liquidity. Like, if I made you guys use Mickle coin to buy merch rather than just using XRP, or rather just using USD, I'm just making your lives harder. Like, I know some of you won't look at that way. You're like, oh no, I want to use Mickle. But like, realistically, that's not a use case. Like, a use case would be some way to use that to pay out earnings, to pay out viewership time, to pay out like a reward system. Like, maybe even if it's not worth any inherent value at the moment, being able to collect that coin as some kind of reward for viewership and loyalty. I think a loyalty coin would be interesting. But all of this stuff, right, is like stuff where it's like outside of a YouTube cooperation or some way for YouTube to integrate a lot of this stuff, or X or anyone else. It's like, what am I going to do? Go develop my own video streaming app or live streaming app to pay out people at a loyalty coin that 99% of people are just never going to look at, right? Like, there's only a certain amount there, right? So it's got to work. That's got to work. And that's the biggest problem with a lot of crypto, right? A lot of crypto, it's like there's no underlying product there. There's no underlying reason for the coin. They issue the coin as a fundraiser, and that's where the SEC does have a point, right? If you're just making up a coin for the purpose of making up a coin to sell, to make money, then there's not really a huge point in the coin. And that's why I've always been such a fan of Ripple and XRP, because it's been such an obvious use case for the coin itself. It facilitates the liquidity from transferring one asset to another. And obviously XRP as a layer one, there's inherent value in the coin for the protocol. Taco Pro says, if I had a Mickle coin for every video I watched, I would retire or could retire. That's funny. If I had a Mickle coin for every video I made, I could certainly retire. Trust me, we're in that boat together as well. My favorite comment I always get is, Mickle, are you paid by Ripple? It's like, if Ripple was paying, I would be first in line. Like, not that anything would change. Oh, I didn't know they did an interview together. I was left out of the loop. Jeez, this is what they do. They just do things. Like, I never find out about it. I never got an interview. I never got an invite to that interview. No, that's awesome. I'm just messing around. Matthew's excellent. Incredible. We love Matt. I didn't realize they did an interview. I'll have to check it out. He's like new to a lot of it was from earlier today. Oh, earlier this year. Oh, I didn't realize it was so long ago. We'll have to do a new one. Roger, I want you to meet Erin as well. She's her COO, and I this is the most I can really jump into this right now, because I'm not really supposed to be talking about it. But she's her COO. She's incredible. I have no shortage of words of like how important she is. So it's really starting to become a team that's mind-blowing. So it's incredible. The things we're going to have in the near future here are going to be things that no one else has, that haven't existed before in crypto. And we're just excited to be on the forefront. So we appreciate all the people who are there early. We understand that these early days, we're not going to be able to be as quick and fast as we really want to be. But I think we're going to have more than enough value on the other side of this to make some of the annoyance of going through some of the stuff worth it. So we appreciate you guys more than anything. And also being able to reiterate on a lot of this onboarding stuff, go back, fix things, change things, make things more seamless. We're looking to iterate as fast as possible. So appreciate you, Roger. And appreciate everyone else who's come on board so far. And hopefully a lot of exciting things to come on that front. Let's see what we got. 3 minutes till market open, and then I desperately need some coffee. I don't know if any of you guys saw the FAA news the other day, where the FAA went up and started yes, Roger, in my own personal capacity, I think there's going to be higher yields on crypto, but lower yields on traditional yield-bearing products, like stablecoin products that just use treasuries. I think a lot of those stablecoin treasury yields are going to go away as interest rates come down. But as we have deeper lending markets for utility, cross-border payments and stuff like that, I think those yields will actually go up. So long story short, I think new crypto yield, I think those yields will go up. I think old-fashioned like treasury yields, I think those kind of generally are pretty reliant on what the Federal Reserve tries to do. Wow, Richie Torres has 1.9 million views on his confrontation. Yeah, I think he's being conservative too, because we don't, just to be fair, we know generally where things lie, but they could be very different in terms of the upside. So I think he's just being conservative there, Roger. We don't want anyone to think like something's different than it is. And kind of in the early stages of what we're building, it's like, look, Roger, I can't tell you how many times we got in a conversation with someone and everything was like, oh, this is working perfectly. And then they're like, oh, by the way, like we told you this could happen. Like this can't happen. And we're like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like you already said it could. And they're like, oh yeah, it can't. So it's like, all right, like let's figure out how we can do this differently. And then it's like, you go down this other path, you have another partner, like, yeah. And they're like, perfect, like onboard you. And then they're like, oh, like we can't do this. And you're like, huh? What do you mean? Like you said you could. And they're like, no. This is very outside. This is just like operationally. I remember we were setting up like a file storage system. And it was like, we did all this stuff. We did all this work with this company, like blah, 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 did all the work. And like, we had like an exact thing we needed to set up. They agreed to it, they blah, 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 blah. And they're like, oh, by the way, it can't happen. And we're like, what do you mean? Walls are clear. That's what it's like. It's like, yeah, you just do this, and this, and this. And then like, boom, like you're all set for registering with the SEC. And then you get to the step and it's like, oh, it can't happen. You're like, well, I just went through all these steps. You told me to come in and register. You told me to do all these things. And what do you mean I can't do it now? Yeah, we'll have a couple different ways, and we're already in the process of some new ones. So let's see. Are we open yet? Are we open? Oh, we are. All right. We're opening it up right now. Not bad. 50-50 at the moment. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin is kind of treading sideways. Let's pull up a chart real quick. Market open. Let's see what gold's doing. So we'll go to gold on the minute. Okay, so gold's selling down a little bit. That's generally not good for all the gold lovers here, but this is a minute chart. So QQQ. Wrong keyboard. QQQ. Investor. Okay, NASDAQ is, oh, it was putting in a green candle. Now it's putting in a red candle. Looks like a pretty sideways open. Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla's a big one that's going to put a lot of weight on the market. Okay. Looks like a generally good open here. Kind of peeking out, a little sideways moving at the moment, but obviously we had that big initial candle upward, which is nice to see. It's like the market's in a bit of no man's land at the moment. See Tesla continuing to kind of have a red candle come in, but I don't know. I think this is going to turn. I think this is going to go up. Yep. That's what I thought. Yeah. I think this is going to push upward a little bit. So yeah, a little reversal there. We'll see. We're kind of just fighting at open. We're not making any huge progress there. Take a look at XRP real quick. XRP is like less impacted by a market open. So XRP, crypto, Bitstamp, US dollar. I don't know why it looks like that. We'll go to the just a liquid on these shorter time frames. We'll go to the hour for XRP. Yeah, XRP just continuing to trade. XRP continuing just to trade sideways. We've been trading sideways for a bit now here on this chart. Nothing overly exciting here. Just waiting for that ultimate breakout. We'll go back to QQQ real quick. See if anything's happening in the broader market. Yeah, it looks like we're trying to put in a green candle here. So trying to put in a green candle, which is generally good with the markets where they're at right now. Oh yeah, Tesla's making a move upwards. Yep, Tesla's up 0.5% now. Nvidia's up decently. All right. No, this doesn't look bad at all. Looks like I think generally we're gonna trend. We're gonna have an okay day here outside of anything scary big happening. Look at this, the QQQ. Just so you guys know, the QQQ is the tech index. Really pushing back to that previous all-time high. I think the Dow's already there. So things generally don't look that bad in my opinion. Things generally don't look that bad. Of course, I'm on crypto QQQ. We can come over here. Yeah, we had this nice bounce off the support. And I love pulling up a chart like this and it's just sitting there. See you later, Roger. Great having you, brother. Great having you. Yeah, we bounced right off the support, and now we're pushing back up to this new all-time high, so that looks really good. Yeah. Everything looks solid. Looks like we're actually going to have a pretty nice day here. Maybe we can get a little push on the QQQ to get past that all-time high. I know the Dow is already sitting there, so if we just compare kind of where the QQQ sits right now. Whoops, wrong chart. Yeah, so the Dow is already at that all-time high place. So the Dow is already there. Take a look at this. The Dow is already kind of pushed out of it. So if you can see the Dow already kind of pushing this new all-time high, and take a look kind of what we're waiting for on the Qs, the tech-oriented part. I think just like we talked about earlier, how gold was leading Bitcoin, you can kind of look at it as like the Dow could be leading the tech sector a bit here. So everything looks good there. All right, guys, with that, I'm going to end it. Thank you so much for coming. You guys are all incredible. Same time, same place tomorrow. You guys are the best. And for now, Mickle out.